sing this next song about anything at all.
Welcome, any and all, to the Friday edition of Dreaming in Paradox. I'm your host, John Olson.
I'm your host, Jose Benutolo.
And joining us for the final time this week is Lord Alex Leon.
Thank you for having me again.
Again and again.
It's finally Friday.
It's finally Friday.
We made it through another week.
Everybody loves Friday.
I think we got it. Today's topic is my topic, and it's one that we've kind of skirted around in the past, and we're always. I don't know if we've ever officially put a pin in it.
I don't think so.
But we have said that we'll come back to it later.
Yes.
We have someone with us who knows a lot about programming and technology, so I thought this would be a good time to talk about a little thing called artificial intelligence.
Yes. So much to say. 30 minutes is so
okay. So specifically,
so short.
I'm talking about free thinking machines.
Okay.
Free thinking machines. How does it happen? Is it good for us? Is it bad for us?
Is it true?
Is it
possible?
Is it possible? I think it's possible.
It is possible.
I think it's
good for us.
Yeah.
But under certain conditions.
Under certain conditions.
Under center conditions.
So, okay,
I want to know more about that.
I want to hear. I guess we'll start with you then, because I have thoughts. But you're
Well, no, go ahead.
You're a resident expert. How does it?
How is it good for us? Like how
does it start? How does it finally happen?
Well, I think it's already happening.
Okay.
We already have computers that can understand and learn.
Okay.
I think that as time is going, this is being perfected. So we already have computers that understand a little bit of semantics. That can do. Computers are already doing things. It's just that people think about artificial intelligence when you see a robot talking or a computer talking back to you. But as a matter of fact, computers are talking to us from a little while now. It's just that they didn't have the speech, right? Or you don't see them physically, telling you something, which is where we're getting in now. Mm-hmm. Able to talk to them and they're being able to put what they want to say into phrases. But computers are already making a lot of decisions for us. And I think that, the question right now with artificial intelligence is that, as you said, is relinquishing the decision making even further to these machines. But I think there's people that have been on that field for a long time, and they had put rules in place to make sure that we do that in a positive manner and responsibly. Right? So, like a lot of people talk about Terminator when they think about artificial intelligence.
Yes.
But I can pull the rules right now, but actually somebody wrote
the rules of robotics, isn't it?
The rules of robotics, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And one of them is harm no human.
Yeah, you can't harm a human.
So, it's just that I think that this was done in a time that, like when we were talking about artificial intelligence, it was still a little bit further away, but the rules were made, and we know back then that we were going to get there, and now we're here. I think as we have machines that talk to us. Like one example is Siri. You have like Cortana.
But do we hit a point where you talk to a machine not like it's
a machine?
Do you hit a point where you talk to a machine like it's a person?
Well, I mean, that's the question. Is it alive?
Right.
Does it get to a point in which
when is it truly sentient?
When
it's aware of itself.
Exactly.
It cares about whether it is. And
what's that line look like?
Yeah, is there what does that line look like? I guess that's what I want to know.
Yeah.
Because that's sort of, and it's clearly, it's one open to speculation.
Data.
Well,
data.
I think data.
Think of data.
So I think we made it, but in very specific,
there are modern. Let's talk about modern AI, I guess.
Yeah. Okay.
For a second. So there are programs that are designed to make decisions. There's programs that can play games, for example. Yeah. Most modern games, AI runs all non-player characters. They're based around some program that gives them anywhere from a very limited number of choices to a wide, and they have to somehow generate that based on response to whatever you're doing. So, and some of these are really sophisticated.
They are, and I think that the argument is going to be. I think the answer to that is going to be something that is going to develop as we go in time, because there's going to be a lot of debate about it, about what does it mean to be alive. For example. When do we consider you to be your own entity? But if you look at it, we are our own machines. We have a brain, and it's kind of hard to reproduce what the brain can do right now in a machine. But I think we will get there. I think we're getting there. And I think that as we get closer, these questions are going to be debated, and eventually, we'll come to a conclusion. But I think it's not a simple question to answer.
Right.
But if you're asking me about,
I'm kind of curious about your own personal theories.
My own. About what is it to be?
Future
I think the future is
AI.
going to be. I think we will be able to talk to computers. I think that we will have robots. I think that the first generation is going to come to help us, as especially on the for people that are handicapped. Robots that we come and help your life, everyday life, be a little bit better and have a little more dignity. I think that robots will come into place to do tasks that we don't want to do. That are repetitive perhaps, or simply we just we don't want to spend time on that. I think robots will come and do that. They're already doing it. I have a robot at my place that cleans my floor. It does a very specific thing, but I don't like cleaning. But I love my Roomba because it does that. Right? And I think it's gonna come. I think people are getting used to it. They're in Siri right now in the form of a personal assistant, right? You can book appointments. You can do things. Same thing with Cortana. And Google, so you'll get them in pieces, and eventually these things will start converging until I think that until you're gonna come to your home
until
and
we exist to take care of them.
So I think that it will be a reciprocal. We will be taking care of them, and they will be taking care of us in return for certain things. I think that eventually you'll be able to talk to your home and say when you need, and I think that we'll have companions too. People that are solitary and whatever, they'll probably have companions or machines. Like it could be a pet. There's been attempts to that, right? Like there's been Sony developed dogs at some point that they were they simulate pretty well emotion. But one of my questions is, for example, somebody tried to mimic, like the brain of an ant, and I read a while back that an ant functions its entire life with 8 commands, sort of like eat, seek out food, help my, they have very specific commands, and their brain can only make decisions based on those parameters. So we as humans, we have a lot more, obviously, and our lives are complex. But if you try to take an insect or some sort of like a biological entity that is alive, right? We agree that they're alive, but they live their existence in a very, very simplified form. If you can replicate how an ant behaves and does things and everything with very simple commands, then can you say that that robotic ant is alive? And if you say yes, I think that when we'll take that into a scenario that like a robot could handle what we handle as variables and inputs and outputs, like in terms of knowledge and our complex lives, I think you'll have to say yes. This robot is. I think we'll have to agree.
This is a much more grounded conversation than I was kind of expecting. We generally talk about movies a lot, and like clearly the way that movies portray AI is very flashy, very showy, and oftentimes very bad for us.
Yes, usually.
Very bad. There's not too many examples of it working out really well for us.
No, there's a lot of computers try to kill us all the time.
Yeah,
they're a little scary because there's kind of this idea of like, why would they need us? And I think that for, let's say you did have like some super brain computer that runs the internet, and it's just like it would need us. It would. I think it would realize that like we're useful to it. Right, that we could have something of a symbiotic relationship, because we do have a symbiotic relationship with machines.
We do.
We build them and take care of them and use them for specific purposes.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I don't see why, just because a computer was super intelligent, it wouldn't also see value in us.
Let me ask you a question. Was it HAL, the first ever computer in filmmaking that tried to kill us?
Maybe.
I
don't
can't
know.
remember
I don't
anything.
know,
I can't
actually.
remember
It
anything.
could be. I
anything-
could see it being way before that.
Do you think so? Like before that, like who? What other computer
I'd
could
have
have
to
tried?
research.
Like yeah, I know, but I mean that's the first
'Cause
one.
computers
That's
have been
as
around
far.
for
That's as
longer
far as
than
I
that.
can think of a computer who tried and actually killed human beings on a movie with HAL. HAL 3000 wasn't it? Like it's like from 2001: Space Odyssey.
Yeah.
I think that's the predecessor, the precursor of evil computers gonna come to kill me.
I think it's gonna go back to that thing of implementing rules that that are they're already there. It's just that I think that we got caught up. Technologies like we talk a little bit
But
about
like,
this before.
I'm wondering can you not have a machine that looks beyond those rules? Like we have rules that society places on us, and we can still choose not to follow those rules. Like,
Sure, have a
will we
machine,
get a
who
machine
rewrites itself, could rewrite
that
that.
could, because like that's the kind of thing that it then becomes truly alien, because it's outside of our ability not only to control but to program, right?
Yeah.
So
But we do have as human species, and like.
because I
we-
feel
we-
like a thing that can make itself more intelligent could become so
Threatening?
much more intelligent than us, then it could outthink us on pretty much every level. That like it could develop its own programming to a level that humans can't understand it, that they can't follow it, and it can also experience things in ways that we couldn't. Like it could experience the world in infrared and X-ray and like
Oh yeah, they can definitely.
radio waves. Like it could just it could be in touch with this layer of reality that we, because of our limited senses, aren't
Can
in
do.
touch
Yeah,
with.
but I think that if you take that into like a biological entity, and we already have animals that are not super smart, but they have in compared to us, they have super senses. You have dogs.
Yeah.
Right, they used to sniff out like drugs, or they even used to sniff out cancer. I heard at some point that dogs could do that, and they we've been able to leverage that for our own purposes, and makes us better and make something something positive.
I don't think that something that was much more intelligent than us would want to obliterate us. Why would it have?
Unless it thinks
What motive would it have to do that?
the motive would be, because what I see this is repetitive in all of the movies that have like this apocalyptic view of thing, is that we're killing Earth. We're I think the message
It has
in
different
movies
needs than we do. Right?
What was that?
Like it has different needs than we do, though. Like sure, it needs power.
Yeah,
But there's it doesn't need as many things as we need.
I think it comes down to a basic point. I think it comes down if an entity who was born by our knowledge and built by us develops the capacity to want to be and see us as a threat, then yes.
yes.
Otherwise, as you say, if there is no
just-
logical reason for it to
but
kill
the
us,
reason-
we need to give it a logical
The reason
reason.
I don't think it would come to that conclusion is that if it's truly much smarter than us, if it truly can outthink us, then what threat could we pose to it?
Because we are
Like
rational.
it could, but like,
We cannot be predicted.
Yeah, I think most of the
but I
movies-
think we kind of can. I think that you could develop something that is smart enough to be like, even though you're unpredictable, I can limit your range of choices within these three.
True.
These are your 1,000 options that you can do on this, and I can think ahead of every single one of those options. Like it wouldn't need to destroy us. Like it wouldn't feel threatened because it would feel superior.
Well, you remember A Bug's Life, the Pixar movie, where they numbers are threatening. So a single machine, unless the machine has the capacity to protect itself, our numbers are a threat.
I don't think there's any reason that a machine would need to build robots to then destroy
It's
us.
true.
Like,
we'll go jumping really
I don't think
ahead.
so, but I think we will reach a point in which machines will learn how to repair themselves. I think that's important. How to duplicate themselves too. That's important as well. Again, there will be rules. I think there are rules that we have for even evolution, sort of like create rules for us that are there. We don't just, we can do things that our society says that we can't do, like killing people or doing something wrong, right? But we know it's wrong, and I think that there are other things that natively we won't, we're wired in a certain way, and I think that we will be responsible for adding those things to the machine. So if you have a primary rule for them as do no harm to humans, then that's it. And you have minds now that, like, you have like.
I feel like this is kind of assuming that an AI happens within a controlled environment, right?
Well, I think an AI is not going to happen by accident. I think that
you don't think so?
No, I think AI is going to be, if we got a machine that can do anything it wants at free will, it's going to be created by somebody. I don't think it's going to be, you get a thunder and a current got into a machine and and like, oh, what am I alive? I don't think it's going to be like that. I think somebody will make the.
What about a machine that can evolve to that?
I always
that can evolve to that. Well, there is already the science of having machines that can learn. So there you go. Like, they can learn and they make decisions.
What if you start having machines that can learn and you put them in the cloud, right? You put them on the internet, right? Like, couldn't it get away from you?
No, because I think that that's where we we go from, like, science fact to science fiction a little bit. It's like. It's like a little bit with what happened to hackers. Like, at some point they were being prosecuted because they thought that, oh my God, if you get access to a computer, you can take a plane down, and it's not true. It's like, there are things that are a little bit exaggerated. If you have something that does thinking the way we have, you need a powerful processing machine somewhere to do that. So it's not like it can like download itself into a separate location. I don't think it would happen like that.
But it could live possibly in multiple locations on servers across the world.
I think you would need multiple servers across the world to make that one entity think the way you
right.
want it to do.
Mm-hmm. Which is why I always kind of like the idea that, like, something like the internet just evolves into
a living thing.
Because it's essentially like neurons firing. There's information passing back and forth between people writing advanced programs back and forth. And, like, yeah, it's science fiction.
But is it a living thing?
But I feel like I don't think it's so far outside the realm of possibility that like complex programs, as we make them more complex, couldn't start interacting in unexpected ways.
Yeah, for sure. But for example,
you have two simplistic AIs that when they react to each other, they create something unexpected.
Yeah. To put you into context, like, a lot of people think that when you talk to Siri on your phone, that it's not Siri's not living on your phone.
Yeah.
Right. The internet is just a vehicle. Okay. So no, perfect. Okay, so that means that there is a central location in which there is a supercomputer that is kind of like taking care of all of these things. So yeah, I think that the that future in which an entity can travel to the internet and
yeah. Well,
I'm not going to say that it's impossible,
more
but
programs are hosted online, and they function online.
Yeah,
and they function to interact, like securities and stuff.
Yeah,
like who gets allowed in versus who gets blacked out.
Exactly.
And so I just thought that, like, as they get more advanced, like, things start happening that we can't necessarily account for. I think if it was something that was like, oh, I can now experience humanity via the internet, it'd be a very interesting creature, right?
Have you seen Ex Machina?
Yes, I have. Yes.
You've seen Ex Machina. You've seen Ex Machina. We saw Ex Machina. Yeah. So this is one thing that Ex Machina made me think of. And spoilers.
Can I tell you what the crazy thing about that is? That movie to me is?
About what?
The craziest thing about that movie.
What is the craziest thing about that?
Is that just this one guy, holed up alone, created this AI. Like,
we don't know what the process was.
Not even a team. Like, he's just like...
He's just writing code.
He's just there, right?
Emulating the human brain.
It's like the idea that one guy is clever enough to...
This is my point. This is my point with that movie. Because he explained the experiment that he's trying to do to the guy. And he tells her, like, this experiment is basically... Exactly. You interact with something, and then You determine. Then they ask you, is this a real thing? Is it a living thing or not a living thing? The only fact is that the only thing that he changed is that you're not supposed to know that you're talking to a machine. He said that's irrelevant because I believe that I actually achieve, AI. So my question is that, can you get to a point? Because I don't think this is possible. I don't think there is a possibility for us to assess specifically if something is sentient or living, because if it can emulate interaction and fool us, it could still be not alive, but all it takes, but if I believe it's alive, it is alive.
And that
There
goes
is
to my
perception.
point. That's what matters.
That's what matters.
It's what matters, because it's about emotions. If you finally get to do something that you can get attached to, as you could get attached to your dog, then what doesn't matter if it's alive or not.
Your projection gives it life.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
projection that you put on it. Like I was watching this
I
video.
felt
Do you
like-
show me that video? The people that made those robots and then one of them kicks them that can't still stand. No, it was somebody at NIFA. Show me this video that came out last year.
I have watched
And
this
then there
video.
is these robots that look like dogs, and then they can really they go like they're very versatile and they don't fall. And then you see them, and then at some point one of the guy kicks it to show you that it can
It can
and,
adapt to-
and when he kicks the thing, I feel bad. I go like, oh, but why are you kicking that thing? That thing is a thing. It's
Humans
a
are very
toaster,
good
like
humans are very good at attributing
but
personality.
we do that. We
We do it
just
to
like
dogs
as long
and
as he
cats
has
and
how do you call that
R2D2.
anthropomorphizing
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Like
Which is where you
get-
have to be careful, right?
you have to be really careful with that.
Going back to Ex Machina,
Ex machina.
in that movie, I felt like he didn't take his test far enough. So he goes, I'm going to let you interview my robot and question it to see if you can tell. And I'm also going to show you that it's a robot. Well, if you're going to show me that much, like, he needs someone in there that he can show the brain to. Right? Like, show them the code. Because, like, if they can see in the code that it's like a predetermined program just for this conversation, like, I feel like it would be obvious. It's where someone's able to do the interview, is able to kind of see the code, and is just baffled by it, by its ability to take turns that they wouldn't expect. Like a really qualified person, Like he should be testing this not with average Joe Schmo, because average Joe Schmo will get fooled every time. Like I want the world's smartest people there, because like, to a certain extent, I'd trust their judgment if they're like, yeah, this thinks like a person, and like reacts in ways that I wouldn't have expected when looking at this code. Like I feel like that's they didn't take it far enough to really for me to buy it.
When you say that, I think my biggest concern or fear here is that it's not so much whether we can arrive at some point in time to determine whether something is alive or not. I think the question would be, can we get to a point in which we could accept maybe that we even ourselves, we think we're alive, right? Our concept of
True.
we think we're so
That's all I got.
special.
I think therefore I am.
The answer, I think that the scary thing is like, can we reach a point in which we can do something that looks so alive at some point that we can say, and we can see how it functions, that we understand ourselves and say, gosh,
We're no different than this.
they're much more different. We're machines too in a way.
Yeah.
I think that's a scary thing. It's like, what do we get?
It
What
shakes,
answers are
it
going to
shakes the basis of
foundation,
reality
yeah.
for a lot
Yes.
of people. Yeah.
I have a theory about that I would like to
Right.
shine some light on. And when I think about evolution, I think about something that becomes something else, that it's inherently better, faster, stronger, more intelligent.
It's more
something.
adapted
It's
to
more
survive,
adapted
yeah.
to its environment. So I feel that I feel that this is all we're gonna be. I feel that those future in which our brain gets bigger and our fingers get longer and then we became the aliens that we depict and stuff like that, I think that is not. I think that might be a point, but I think that as humans,
We're not going to hit it.
no, I don't. I believe that evolution, it's not necessarily the fact. If evolution is adapting to survive, the fact of not needing to eat, sleep, or even feel is an evolutionary trait, in my opinion.
They will learn how to feel.
Which means to feel.
Absolutely, though.
Which means to me that AI, achieving the fact of a computer that can repair itself, that eventually do not need us, that humankind can go extinct, and it can keep going, reasoning, thinking, building other stuff, and not needing the carbon-based organisms that we are, it's actually our next step in evolution. I think we are going to disappear, and what we're going to leave in the universe is going to be machines capable of thinking. I think AI, it's our next step in evolution, not us being something else.
Well, let me throw another variable in the back, and you can make an episode about this at some other point. But if we're assuming that machines will be the ones taking over, but how about biology? We've been already analyzing our DNA, and I think something that is not being talked about a lot, but I'm sure soon enough is going to come up too. It's like we have the ability to change ourselves too.
Yeah.
Rapid evolution, we can make ourselves with a bigger head.
Yeah.
We can manipulate ourselves to become
kinds of things that might be more like global warming, right? They say we've hit the point of no return. Like we can't fix it, but can we adjust ourselves? So that we can survive the new environment?
Exactly, and I think that's another thing that is gonna.
That is something I've read recently in science fiction and stuff like that.
Yeah, but it's possible too, and that's like we already decoded the entire genome. Now it's just like, okay, we have an alphabet and we don't know what to do with it, but we have the alphabet already.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of time until somebody says, hey, I'm pretty sure
let's make words with this alphabet.
Yeah, exactly. Or something like, hey, how would you like to have a kid that is immune to like 80% of diseases in the world? Just with an injection just before they're born or something like that. Boom.
True.
How about we start preparing astronauts with changing them to go to space into like you were saying, like maybe to need less oxygen, to eat less. So those are ways to achieve it.
It's a little bit more readjust to new environments quicker.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Like to have a body that adapts faster.
I think at that point we were playing God a little bit more, and this will probably start a whole new conversation of ethics. And,
so are we the last generation that's gonna miss out on immortality?
I don't know.
We're the last mortal.
Maybe I was reading this article that said that the first human that's gonna reach 500 years, like
I've heard
might already be born because
150 they say is already alive. The first person that will reach 150.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think we're gonna be extending our lifespan.
Might be. Yeah, it might be more than that, but like
I just feel that if what makes us think of evolution is the capacity of reasoning, I feel that this carcass is just the objective for the brain, and if the brain survives, then the carcass can die.
And maybe you said maybe you just answer the question of the machines. Like the only reason why there's a lot of people that think that aging is a disease. And aging is an effect actually of oxygen. If you guys didn't know that, is oxygen is what's killing us in this planet.
Damn oxygen!
And we can make another episode of that one. But the fact that we're not able to die and then learn what happened to us is what we cannot evolve from that. That's why everything dies, because there's nothing else after it. So you cannot our next generation didn't die before it was born. You understand? It's like a little bit of a contradiction. So because they haven't died before they're born, they cannot go beyond that. But machines, we can create it. They'll be able to repair themselves. The question is, will they be able to evolve like we did? To adapt themselves to different, to changes, to make themselves better.
What's really interesting is when they learn to love art and stuff. And like this is why I think a super machine wouldn't want to destroy us, because like biology is interesting, right? It's very interesting, and this is you're talking about a learning machine, right? Like it would be looking for other life, it would be looking and examining what we are, maybe what it can do with us, but it's man.
No,
it's weird. It's big.
But scientists are already saying like the biggest minds out there, they're already screaming two things. One is please start making sure that we have a code of conduct for these machines, because intelligent machines making their own decisions, maybe not as you and I talking and making fully aware, but machines that can make their own decisions and do a lot of things are coming for sure. And the second thing, stop sending probes into space, advertising left and right that we're here.
Yeah.
Well, that would be another topic for another.
That is another topic.
That is another. This is definitely another topic. Oh my God!
There's
So much meat on this bone.
There was one thing I wanted to hit on before we wrap, that we were kind of starting to touch on. Is just that, like, I think industrialization has gone. It's gone past the point of no return, where, like, this idea that we can live holistically, I think is an option that's already gone. It's like some people will do it, and but there's this. I saw this debate on GMOs recently. It was held. It was like a big science conference, and it was really interesting in that like modifying foods, like modifying people, is like something that we're gonna have to do in order to survive. Is like not just modifying ourselves, but modifying our environment. It's kind of what humans do.
I have no issue with that.
And like modifying foods so that they can survive in a changing world is going to be important. And I think that and that's a debate that's being had right now.
Yeah.
It's very current. And I think the next evolution of that debate is people. It's modified people.
It's people, soil and green.
I believe so.
It's
Yes, I don't know if you know this, but they said that this year we already started the past. We're consuming more of what our planet can actually produce.
This
so
year?
right now, this year, we started surpassing what the capacity of production of our own planet.
And then you see stories about how much waste is happening.
Isn't that scary?
And
it's exciting.
Like how much food goes to waste. It's insane. Yeah. It's like there's enough to feed everybody.
Exciting times are coming.
Distributing it properly.
Exciting times
like
are
the
coming.
future, not evenly distributed.
Oh my God, we've reached
All
the
right,
breaking
well,
point.
We've gone a little long already.
Yes. So much meat in this bone.
This was fun. You're a really fun guest. We gotta have as many smart guests as we can. Teach us some things.
Do you think computers are gonna get us, or do you think we're gonna get them first?
Right.
Wow.
Subscribe if you enjoyed this week.
Yes.
Don't forget to follow our guests. Website. Website that when we started the week didn't have this website. Has it now. You want to talk?
Absolutely.
We'll
It's just gonna be like my handle for Twitter. So Lord Alex, but it's gonna be lordalex.xyz.
XYZ.
XYZ.
.xyz. So you can go to Lord Alex at XYZ or .xyz, or you can visit him on Twitter at Lord Alex.
But we need to ask a question. I mean, I'm not ready to drop that.
You're not ready to
I'm not ready to drop that. So, are you more famous than my dog?
I don't know.
Jose's dog is the Turtle Bat Pig.
At Turtlebat Pig on Instagram?
No, he's Turtle Bat Pig, right?
Oh yeah,
he's
Turtlebat Pig.
He's just Turtle Bat Pig.
Turtlebat Pig.
At Instagram. He's at Turtle Bat Pig on Twitter.
Yes, correct.
So how many followers does he have?
20,000, well 19,000 something.
Oh yeah, no, he beat me by far, man. I don't think I made it to 2,000. I think I'm about 1,800 at the most.
One day we'll get a guess.
We'll get a guess. You're beating him on Twitter. I think his Twitter's kind of small.
Oh yeah, his Twitter's small. You beat him on Twitter.
Okay, on Twitter,
definitely. He doesn't.
But his Instagram is huge.
Oh, Instagram. Okay, I'm not even on Instagram though.
It's hard to think, but he's got a lot.
Yeah, but you know.
So we're giving it to Ludwig again?
We're giving it to Ludwig
maybe
again.
Next time.
Absolutely.
Maybe next time you'll win. We'll see. Ludwig's got to step up his game.
He does. He does. He needs to.
He needs to.
He will.
He needs to start stepping up.
Up.
Step up to the challenge, right? Last week, no, 3 weeks ago, we had a good contender.
Yes.
So, all right. Well, share the show if you like it. Hit the like button also. And definitely, if you haven't already, please subscribe. We're still trying to get to 500 subscribers. It's our big milestone, and we'll get there someday.
Definitely.
If you want to find me on Twitter and make me more famous than Turtle Bad Pig, you can find me at John in Paradox.
Well, you can find me at Lord Alex.
I gave him a bunch already.
And you can find me at Jose in Paradox. And before we go, I have a message to all the computers in the far, far distant future that are looking at this as the archives to the humankind that was already extinct.
No.
Please like our show.
I don't know if this is how we used to be. This is the thing that we used to talk about, and you probably will find it amusing. But friends from the future, we say goodbye from the past. Till the next time.